in South Africa, if you travel and you don't use it, they don't charge you money. But in Nigeria, DSTV, I just want to bring this to your attention. Come, the nominee, because you mentioned telecommunications. That's actually where I came from before I entered politics. DSTV in South Africa, if you travel for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, your card will not run. Your money remains until you come and activate it. But in Nigeria, once you pay, if you travel for a week, 2 weeks, by the time you come back, it has run out. So they are charging you on a daily basis, even when it is not in use. Which chairman is in charge of communications? Where is he here? Is vice chairman here? But he has gone to submit his form. But please, you need to invite DSTV. I just remembered it. And then the nominee will also mention, because he also he has been there, he has advised them, he has done a lot of work on that. Why should Nigeria be paying for DSTV that they are not using? The same way that we are paying for power that we are not using. You go to communities, their transformer has stopped working 1 year ago, but the people are still getting bills on a monthly basis. The same way you are not using DSTV, you have traveled for holiday with your families, by the time you come back, everything has been consumed. But it doesn't happen in South Africa, where they're coming from. So these are things, I don't know how you advise them. Listen to me. You were the consultant to telecommunication. So I don't know how you advise them that they will continue to rob Nigeria and cheat Nigeria, and then you are here before us. So when you are answering, just a consultant. Then also, from my point of view sorry, one second. From my point of view, your resume is so rich towards fiscal policies. Extremely rich towards fiscal policies. KPMG, that, everything. Are you actually sure that you were recommended for power? You can answer. So it is where it places the appointer, that he puts the appointee. And so I know that, and sometimes, even when I was a governor, you move people around. That was why I asked that question. That listening to you, that you have so much rich experience in the finance sector. But even the power sector also needs a lot of finance. So I'm sure in the course of questions, somebody will ask you why the federal government is doing partial deregulation in the power sector. For instance, you give out licenses for generation of power. You give out the distribution networks. You give out distribution to companies, but you retain transmission. The result is that places like Ibom Power, for instance, I produce 191 megawatts, and I cannot even take out more than 80 because the transmission company has not been able to have the infrastructure to take out even up to 150. I hope you understand. Yes. And so you go to aluminum smelter company in my state. I'm using myself as an example. You have 690 megawatts locked up there for over 15 to 18 years. Something that is already there. It produces at least 690 megawatts from the time it was put together. And even when it was in production, they don't use more than 180. They don't use even up to 200. So if we were to release even 300 or 400 megawatts to the national grid, it will go a long way to service states that do not even require up to 100 megawatts. But those things have been lying fallow for over, in fact, you won't be able to answer all the questions on power. So let me just tell my colleagues to use one minute and round up, because the power problems are too many. Deputy Senate President, you can just ask one question so that we can discuss power here today. Even 1 week.
I'm not going to ask any question. Please, you have asked all the questions now.
Don't ask him about the trillions that were put in the past, billions of dollars that went into the power sector, and nothing came out of it.
And he was not there, so I shouldn't ask him. He wouldn't know what happened then. Well, first of all, let me...
Mr. President, let me join my colleagues in thanking Mr. President for appointing this eminent personality. I have looked at his resume, and I found him to be eminently qualified for this job. But beyond that, Mr. President, I have my concern. And the concern is that from 1999 to date, we have sunk trillions of naira into power sector. We have done a lot of initiatives to ensure that we have regular and constant power supply in this country. Unfortunately, we are still not out of the wood. I'm happy when he mentioned the main areas, the main problem areas: distribution, transmission, and also generation. Mr. President, he also compared the power sector with the communication sector. And he said the communication sector is now a success story in Nigeria, which is true. It is a success story simply because the telecommunication companies were allowed to charge market reflective tariff. But in the power sector, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, government has not allowed the distribution companies, even the transmission companies, the generation companies to charge market reflective tariff. Instead, there is NBET, which I have seen that he's also an advisor there, where all debts are accumulated and government pay to both the distribution companies and also the gas companies. Mr. President, the issue of market reflective tariff is like an elephant in the room. Unless we take political decisions, strong political decisions, political will to really charge market reflective tariff, we will not solve the power problem, because government does not have money to really fund the power sector. I want to hear from the nominee, will he advise the government to charge market reflective tariff in order to make sure that the power sector problem is solved in Nigeria? There is no way we can achieve $1 trillion economy if the power sector remains in comatose. Like one of my colleagues said, power is critical to our development. You cannot manufacture, you cannot